Hi, this is Sue for Parkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's. So I wanted to talk today about a hidden issue. And that issue is that if you don't have a condition that is easily identifiable, with symptoms that are very obvious, it's difficult getting people to understand and support what you need. I've been watching a series on Netflix, and there's a young boy there who has Asperger's, and on the surface of it he is a healthy, intelligent boy, but he doesn't cope with life the way other kids his age might cope with life, and he has what could be seen as tantrums. And you see the looks on people's faces in this program when he reacts. I hesitate to say badly, but he reacts in a way that would be seen to be a temper tantrum. And he is judged, and his parents are judged, because he looks perfectly normal in inverted commas. And Parkinson's is a lot like that. My husband and I were in a cab going to a show last night, and he started to talk to me about something, and I can't even remember what it was, which illustrates my point beautifully. He started talking to me about something, and there was quite a lot of information coming my way. And he was trying to tell me how to do something. And again, I can't say what it was. And I let him finish, and I smiled, and I said, "Darling, thank you for that. But you realise, unless I'm sitting here with a pen and paper, and I jot down everything you're telling me, that it's not going to stick with me. I'm not going to remember anything that you said to me now when it comes to the morning." And guess what? I have remembered nothing of what he said to me last night, just as I predicted. It's not that I consciously didn't want to listen. It's not that I purposefully decided that that information was something that I didn't need. It's just that I know my brain. I know what my brain can and can't do, and what it can't do is cope with a lot of information at any one time and absorb it. Now, the conversation was only about a couple of minutes long. It wasn't a long conversation at all. But, yeah, my brain just doesn't work that way anymore. I was in a cab. I was on my way to a show. I was looking forward to the show. I didn't have a pen and paper. I'm not that great at jotting things down on my phone. So the chances of me remembering what he said to me are close to zero. So this morning, we will have breakfast together, and I will say, "So, that conversation you started in the cab last night, tell me about it. Tell me what you wanted me to know. Tell me what you wanted me to hear." And I'll get a pen and paper and we'll write it down. And that way I can absorb it. And when you look at me, apart from the fact that I'm walking with a walker at the moment, that walker doesn't say, "This person has problems remembering things." That walker doesn't say, "This person has trouble absorbing things, listening to things, retaining information." It says, "This person has an issue with walking. This person may need help in and out of the car. This person will need you to bring her walker to her so she can walk safely." That is the visible issue that I have. God, this croaky throat's another one. So, yeah, it's difficult, and it's difficult to explain to somebody that's not dealt with this. Memory and retention is a big deal, and even if it's really important, I find that I'm not absorbing the information like I would like to. So I often use an analogy when talking about issues with people with brain injuries or cognitive issues. I say, if you see a person in a wheelchair at the bottom of some steps, do you expect them to be able to walk up those steps? Now that may seem like a ridiculous question, but of course You wouldn't expect that person in a wheelchair to walk up those steps. You would look at them in the wheelchair, and you would then look around you for one of two things. One being at least a ramp to get where they need to go, or two, an elevator. But you just wouldn't, nobody would expect a person in a wheelchair to get up some steps. But you get another person standing at the bottom of those steps, looking up those steps and not making a move. And you would think, what's the deal? And people might even say, are you lost? Do you know where you're going? It's not that they're lost necessarily. It's that they can't figure out how to get up those steps. It's not that they physically can't get up those steps. It's that they can't envision the steps to get up the steps. So they can't process the information to put that first foot on the first step, and the second, and the third, and so on. They literally cannot plan their first move and the subsequent ones. And that's somebody with a brain injury. Somebody with Parkinson's might start to go up the steps, perhaps, and then part way up go, what was I going up these steps for? It may pause, and it may come to them, or it may not. And if it's a good day, it may come to them. If it's a not so good day, it may take time. If it's a really not good day, they may have to be helped either up or down off those steps. And whether this is literally steps that they need to get up, or steps towards a goal that they need assistance with, a person with Parkinson's may need your help to take that first step, and so on and so on. And maybe if they repeat those steps, either literally or figuratively, if they are able to complete those steps with assistance, with sufficient repetition, then they may be able to take those steps on their own one day. But it takes patience and repetition with support to get these things achieved. I know at Christmas, when we had family staying, I asked somebody a question about their plans, and they looked at me and shook their head and said, "Didn't you write that down? I've told you this before." And I may have written it down, but I may not remember where I wrote it down. There was a lack of understanding that I wasn't being slack, that I wasn't just trying to be annoying, that I have a real issue with processing too much information at once, and that's my Parkies brain. So yeah, somebody with a Parkies brain may have some hidden challenges. But what I would say to you, if you're a Parkinson's person, maybe write down the things you find challenging. Give that list to the people you love so that they can know, at least in part, and understand what you need in the way of support. So if I ask you again what you're doing later today, if I'll ask you tomorrow the same question, just bear with me. I'm not slack. I'm not disorganised. I have a Parkies brain that makes these things a challenge. Look at me and I need a walking frame. That means I need support to walk. Look at me and I look confused. That means I need support to understand. This has been Sue for Parkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's, with yet another croaky throat. Kia kaha, be strong, be brave, be you.